Samurai and Their Wives. The life films never show early morning in feudal Japan. Mist drifts slowly between wooden houses and narrow paths. The air is cold and still. Inside a modest home with sliding paper doors, a samurai calmly prepares for departure. He tightens the cords of his armor, adjusts his clothing, and finally reaches for his sword. He does not make speeches. He does not swear that he will return. He knows that promises have no value in a world governed by duty and death. His wife stands nearby. She watches every movement in silence. She does not cry, does not cling to him, does not ask him to stay. She lowers her head slightly, accepting what must be accepted. At first glance, it seems obvious who the warrior is, and yet this quiet scene hides a truth that films rarely show. Who samurai really were. A samurai was far more than a swordsman. He was a servant of duty. His life did not belong to him as an individual. It belonged to his lord, his clan, and the strict moral code known as Bushido. From an early age, samurai were taught discipline, loyalty, and emotional restraint. Victory was desirable, but readiness for death was essential. Death was not treated as a failure, but as a natural and honorable outcome of service. A samurai lived with constant awareness that each day could be his last. He trained his body and mind not to fear death, but to meet it calmly if required. This mindset shaped not only his actions, but the structure of his entire household. And while the samurai might leave for battle, the responsibility for preserving his world remained behind. The samurai's wife. Not a shadow, but a pillar. Outwardly, a samurai's wife appeared obedient and reserved. She spoke softly, followed strict etiquette, and rarely displayed emotion in public. To modern eyes, this behavior may appear submissive. In reality, it was a cultivated form of inner strength. A samurai's wife carried immense responsibility. She was the guardian of her husband's reputation, the educator of his children, and the keeper of order within the household. Every gesture, every word, and every decision reflected not only on her, but on the honor of the entire family. If she behaved improperly, the shame would fall upon her husband, even if he was a respected warrior. If she maintained dignity, discipline, and restraint, she reinforced his status and protected his name. This role required constant self-control. Emotion was not forbidden, but it had to be mastered. Life in silence and discipline. When a samurai left for war, his wife often remained alone. Weeks could stretch into months. Months could become years. Sometimes there would be no return at all. During his absence, she managed the household entirely. She oversaw finances, organized servants if there were any, ensured that food was prepared, clothing maintained, and rituals observed. She made decisions quietly, without recognition. She also raised children, particularly sons, to follow the path of discipline. From an early age, they learned restraint, respect, and obedience to duty. The mother was often the first teacher of Bushido, long before a sword was placed in a child's hands. Loneliness was a constant companion. Fear was ever present, yet neither could be shown openly. Strength in this world meant endurance, women and weapons. Contrary to popular belief, women in old Japan were not entirely removed from the world of combat. Samurai wives were often trained to use weapons, particularly the naginata, a long pole weapon effective for defense within confined spaces. The purpose of this training was not conquest, but protection. If enemies entered the household, the wife became the first and final line of defense. She was expected to protect the children, the home, and the honor of the family. This was not a symbolic role. It was practical and real. Many women understood that if the household fell, disgrace would follow, even if the samurai himself had died honorably elsewhere. In such moments, fear was secondary to duty, honor above life. In samurai culture, honor was valued above survival. This belief extended to women as well. For men, ritual suicide was known as seppuku. For women, there was jigai. These practices are often misunderstood. They were not acts of violence for spectacle, nor expressions of despair in the modern sense. They were tragic, final choices within a rigid moral framework where loss of honor was considered a fate worse than death. It is crucial to understand that women did not seek these outcomes. Their lives were shaped around preventing such moments from ever arising. Discipline, restraint, and vigilance were tools to preserve honor without reaching extremes. The strength of these women lay not in death, but in their commitment to life lived with dignity. Peasant women and a different reality. Beyond the samurai class, the wives of peasants lived under different conditions, yet their lives were no easier. They worked tirelessly in the fields, tended livestock, managed households, and raised children, often while enduring poverty and hardship. Their concept of honor was not defined by Bushido, but by reputation within the village. Scandal, infidelity, or public disgrace could destroy a family's ability to survive. Peasant women were physically strong, resilient, and practical. They labored alongside men and often bore responsibility when men were absent. Their discipline was shaped not by formal codes, but by necessity. Different classes, different rules, yet the burden placed upon women remained heavy. Cinema versus reality. Modern films often portray women of old Japan as passive, silent, and powerless. This image is convenient and dramatic, but deeply misleading. In reality, these women possessed remarkable inner strength. They mastered emotional control, endured long periods of isolation, and carried responsibility without recognition. They influenced the future through education, example, and quiet authority. They did not ride into battle wearing armor, yet they upheld the very foundation of society. Their power was not loud, it was constant. A legacy that still echoes. Many of the values formed during the samurai era continue to influence Japanese culture today. Emotional restraint, respect for responsibility, and dedication to one's role are still visible in social behavior and family life. Modern Japanese women live with far greater freedom and opportunity, yet traces of that historical discipline remain. The past has not disappeared. It lingers, shaping attitudes and expectations in subtle ways. History does not vanish, it transforms. Conclusion. When we think of samurai, we imagine swords, armor, and battlefields. But behind every warrior stood a woman who carried an equal weight. She did not wear armor. She did not march to war. Yet she guarded the home, preserved the family name, and shaped the next generation. Samurai were strong by the sword. Their wives were strong in spirit. And perhaps it was this balance between visible strength and silent endurance that defined the true power of old Japan.